Good evening, YouTube. This is man all the way to Page, aka the Emperor of WMMA Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, last night we had an event, the UFC Fight Night 55 in Vegas, where we had the main event of the night was uh, Holly, the preacher's daughter, Holm, versus Ketlen Vieira, and was in 135. And the 135 division hasn't been much as it used to be. When it first started out, it was the main thing for women in MMA for UFC, but now it has kind of lost a little shine. And Holly is the former champion in that division, and Ketlen is an up and comer. And this fight was scheduled is possibly maybe a future title contender match for the 135 division, for the 135 title. As currently Juliana Pena, the Venezuelan vixen, is the champion, and we're probably waiting for the upcoming possible, Pena versus Nunes 2. As both Nunes and Pena are working as coaches for the Tough series, and we're not sure when that fight's going to happen, but they're just going to find out. Anyway, if you look at the tail of the tape, Holly has much experience. She's 39 years old. She's been fighting since over 20 years. She was a boxer for a good while. She did kickboxing, then she transitioned to MMA. And, it wasn't that long ago. She was, as I said again, the former 135 women's champion. And Ketlen, for one point, was an upcomer. She looked like a potential title contender for the championship, but possibly she wasn't probably going to beat Amanda Nunes. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the Lioness Queen, but she's tough. I mean, she has put out a lot of people, especially people like Cyborg, and you can't forget Jermaine Duraname, and also she beat Ronda Rousey to death. But this was possibly maybe a future fight for the title. So but like these two ladies really, people think that there's going to be a really impressive fight after the disappointing fight we had with Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. But the fight wasn't as exciting as it was to be. It's kind of basically it was a grinder. It really was pretty much ground out. There was some pretty good shots here and there. Holly, she has a good skill set, but the thing is, Holly can be predictable. She used the same three punch combination, and also her thing is she loves to use that head kick. That's the thing is, and with Ketlen, she moves forward. She doesn't fight as smart as she should, and that has in some fights that's shown that it is her weakness. She has the ability. She can probably put some women out, but just she needs to really work on that. But the first round, pretty much it went to Holly, and Holly used her skill set. She used her kicking, punching combinations, and even though she threw more punches, I think with Ketlen she had a little more pepper with hers. And at one point, when it got a little tough, Holly used the cage. A lot of the fighters use the cage to try to stifle, opponent's assault. And I think she did it most of the fight. I think around about to the second round, Ketlen was coming back. She was using her skill set, but with Holly, she's always used her go to move is that famous head kick. It has done pretty good for her in the past, but sometimes it's predictable. You can see it coming, especially when she yells out. But with Ketlen, she's throwing more punches, still going forward. She fought a little smart in this fight compared to her past fights, knowing she's getting with somebody wet like Holly Holmes. Even one point, she almost got in a choke. You can see Holly; her face is just turning red. I mean, like she's, one thing Hollywood weakness is wrestling, because that's how Misha Tate beat her. Because Holly's not a good wrestler; she's a better stand-up. But she was able to not get submitted by this choke, because it wouldn't gone the distance like it did. And then Ketlen was just putting it on. We got too long into the fight. I think she probably has good energy when it gets farther. But with Holly, she's a little older. She's 39, and Father Time eventually gets to you, especially we get past 40. It just happened. I remember when I was rooting for my girl Mariner, when she fought Misha Cupcake Hate Tate, but Marion's like 42 years old. Misha's just maybe 35. Sometimes those years can make a difference, but experience is still one thing. But anyway, the fight went to the judges and was split decision in favor of Ketlen Vieira. So congratulations to Ketlen for pulling out a win. I mean, especially over someone like Holly Holmes. And this was great. I was watching when she's at the end. She was emotional. She was crying. She was hollering. I mean, it's the same thing happened to her when she fought against Misha Tate. And this is a great thing for her. This is her second winning streak since her loss against Yakuskaya. and then beating someone like a former champion, another former bantamweight champion like Misha Cupcake Tate. And Misha Tate, now she went up to down to 135 after taking this whooping. She's not ready for these girls. Even though 135 is not as strong like it used to be, she's not ready for these girls that's coming up in this division. And with Holly, you know what? She's like that, like any fighter, especially when you get older, it's getting tough. Wasn't that long ago she was on like a 4-fight losing streak. She had a couple of bounce backs after a while, and then, she had a shot for the title when she got Mana Nunes. And, this point was that after her couple of losses, remember Ketlen was also in the line for maybe a future upcoming title fight. But, she had some setbacks. She got knocked out by Irene Daniel. That's been like 2, 3 years ago. That was after she had a knee injury. She was out for a while, and Irene was just a better striker in this fight. Then she loses a split decision to Yana Kuzskaya, who's right now just recovering after having a child. We don't know when Yana ever come back. We're still waiting on her. And then, she just really determined she wants to get a shot at that title. And she knows titles have changed hands. And, we all know that Holly's claim to fame was beating the former champ, Ronda Rousey, and, hitting her with that head kick, knocking her out. And, we all know Ronda Rousey was one dimensional. Only thing was with her was that arm bar. And she comes back and take a whooping from Mana Nunes. And then the same person that put out Ronda Rousey knocked Holly Holm out with a head kick. That's been about 2 years ago. Yeah, with a head kick, which is something that was, Holly's thing. But, Holly bounced back. She beats Arena Daniel. I watched that fight with her, Arena Daniel. And she really just beat that girl to the punch. You got to remember, Holly was the better stand-up artist, being a former boxer. And then she pulls out a squeaker with Raquel Pennington. And this was the second fight between her and Raquel. And, I think she beat her in the first fight. And so, this is a good win. 2 wins in a row. But now I think Holly got to realize that time is passing by her. She's getting older. Plus, she's been with the Winkle John Gym forever. Evil Winkle John Gym. Jackson Wink is not a great gym for her. She hasn't really evolved as a fighter. She's slowly evolving, but now it's too late for her to evolve anymore. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Holly Holm as a fighter, especially when she was a boxer. But I think she has a great physique, great body. She can probably do commentary. She can do maybe start her own gym, be an instructor. I don't think she's so much good as a coach per se, because I think she has the mental attitude for it. But she also has other business endeavors, such as her and her brother. They have a distillery where they make, I think, vodka or tequila or something like that, or gin. Maybe something like that might be interesting in her. Do that for a while. That's a good way to make some money for yourself. And, as we all know, we're still waiting on the possible rematch between Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes. And the thing is that will, Ketlen get the opportunity? Or they might throw in a rematch with Irene Daniel. Irene posted a fault some time ago, but she's out because of an injury. So maybe a rematch between these two to see who will be worthy at the shot at the title. If, like I said, if Ketlen wins, she's going to get an inch shot. If Irene wins, I don't think they may give Irene a immediate title fight. She needs to prove herself a little bit. But Ketlen, she had moments for a good while, beat people like Kat Zingano, beating Misha Tate, and now beating Holly Holm, some legends in MMA. But like I said, she still has a way to go. And to beat somebody like Amanda Nunes or even beat somebody like Julia Pena, that's a long way. But if she, like I said, she's still young, just 30. She can, make some improvements on her striking, maybe smarter moves. There's a lot of things she can do. But I think she has the potential. She may not win the fight, but she might give it her all. But like I said, she's an impressive young fighter. She has a lot of good aptitude about her. My fingers were crossed hoping she beats her, because I felt like if Holly Holm would win, they give her another shot at either Nunes, or maybe if either Nunes or Pena, whoever wins the rematch, because they're gonna push, because Holly Holmes is the great white hype, like Kayla Harrison. UFC, the majority of the fan base is white males, and Holly is the Aaron Fantasy, blonde and tall, and not that good looking. Great body, but not that good looking. But anyway, like I said, I'm hearing people always saying that it was a robbery. No, it's not a robbery. I've seen robberies. This was a robbery. This was a fight that went down the middle, and which pretty much, Ketlen deserved it. She did as much as she could against, especially a game opponent like Holly Holm. So the best of luck to her in her endeavors. Hoping we get to see her fight again, maybe for the title, or maybe another title eliminator. Because but how the UFC, Dana White, he usually goes back to fighter that he likes to support, and if he don't see the fighter he likes who he feels like is who needs the or who's given the opportunity to, he'll just give the hardship to the other fighter. But anyway, congratulations to Ketlen Vieira. Good luck to you in any future endeavors you are having in this sport of mixed martial arts. And I hope we see you back into the octagon again. And we just made out with George Page, aka the Emperor of WMMA Talk. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.